Every isolated tribe explored in 14 minutes.
North Sentinelese tribe. The Sentinelese tribe is known for its...
I could talk about North Sentinel Island for 6 hours every single day of the week. It is fascinating to me. Even this video, when one of you guys sent this in the video / tab, I was so excited. I know it's like one of those like fucking AI like stick figure videos, but isolated tribes are the most fascinating thing in the world to me, in that they don't know that we exist or any technological thing exists. They don't know like Wi-Fi or phones or cars or planes. Like, and if they've seen any of them, they haven't really understood it entirely. That's wild to me. And the fact that North Sentinelese have existed on that island alone for like 60,000 years, and it's just been that small group of people. I always think about this too. There has to be some sort of ancestral breeding as well for just that amount of people to stay on that island for that long a period of time. But even outside of that, they haven't even figured out, like, they're in the Stone Age. North Sentinel Island, they have metal, but they use metal from washed up shipwrecks. Like, they make arrowheads from like metal that they carve out. They've never been mining. They don't understand blacksmithing. It's just like, dude, they're living how our ancestors did 60,000 years ago.
They often react aggressively to unauthorized intrusions into their territory. In the early 1960s, the Indian government tried to befriend them, but to say it didn't go well would be an understatement. The government declared the island off limits to protect their sovereignty and keep intruders away, creating a 5-kilometer buffer zone around it. You might think you could ignore this ban and wander onto the...
At some point, though, there's never going to be isolated tribes. Just throughout, if we're, maybe not in our lifetime, but 5,000-10,000 years down the line, when society gets so advanced, either A, those isolated tribes are going to die, and they're going to not be able to survive at some point, or B, they're just going to get ingrained into human society, like, or modern society, rather. Like, you're not going to have an uncontacted tribe in the year 5,140. And then, you know what's crazy? Say they do have that. They're going to start evolving different than us. Obviously, it takes hundreds of thousands of years for people to look differently. But if we have our modern society for thousands of years and humans don't kill each other or get wiped off the planet by a fucking meteor or global warming or some shit, that uncontacted tribe will mentally be different than us even more than they are now. Like, do you think that they have the average IQ that we do? I wonder. Because 60,000 years, they probably have skill sets that we don't have, but 60,000 years alone on one island, 60,000 years. That's before society. That's before ancient Egypt. That's before anything. They've only existed on that island.
The island, but that would be a terrible idea, as anyone who has ever tried never lived to tell the story. In 2000,
yeah, that one dumbass that was like a Christian missionary that was like, I'm gonna go convert the North Sentinelese. Yeah, how are you gonna talk to him, pal? That's where that clip is of me that everybody pulls up, where I'm going, wah, 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 wah. I'm talking about that fucking idiot, where he's like, I'm gonna go convert the North Sentinelese to Christianity. Dude, you don't even know what language they speak. You're gonna tell them about your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? They don't know. They don't even know how to talk to you. They don't even know that society, they don't even know society exists, let alone you telling them about the way of God.
2006, 2 Indian fishermen who had been illegally fishing for crabs moored their boat near the Sentinelese island and fell asleep. The boat broke loose and drifted onto the shores of the island. They were set upon by the tribe's warriors and axed to death, their bodies strapped to bamboo sticks facing the sea as a warning to others. In 2018, another incident occurred, and this time...
That annoys me, though, a little. I don't know why. Like, I know you're getting in on their territory, but, like, these guys... You know, they shouldn't have been, you know, fishing in that area. But, like, they weren't hostile to these dudes.
Time, it was an American missionary who was killed. He illegally traveled to the island with the intent of converting them to Christianity. The Sentinelese tribe issued warnings on 4 different occasions, but he persisted in attempting to make contact, which ultimately led to his fatal encounter. His dead body was seen dragged up and down the shore by the tribe's warriors. The Sentinelese people have made it clear that they do not want contact with outsiders, and their reactions are based on a desire for isolation and self-preservation.
How do we know that, though? How do we know that, though? Like, maybe, I don't know. Yes, they're killing everybody that's coming at them, but they might think we're demons. They might not, they might think, dude, we don't know what faith-based or religious-based beliefs that these people have. They have been living there alone for 60,000 years. It's not them. We're just immediately assuming they're making the logical wherewithal decision to go, no, we want to stay on this island and not be interactive with any of you. They don't even know what the you is. They don't know what exists outside of their island. So maybe they're just scared and they're killing them out of fear.
Any contact could mean the extinction of their people, as they have no immunity against diseases like flu and malaria. They shoot arrows at helicopters and approaching boats, so if you're ever thinking of visiting, chances are there's already an arrow waiting for you. Sand Tribe. The Sand People, also known as Bushmen, have existed for over 20,000 years. They're descendants of the early Stone Age ancestors and the first dwellers in South Africa. Famous for their hunting skills, they are nomads who move from place to place and live under rocky overhangs, mountains, and caves. The Sandmen are also formidable trackers who can follow the trails of any animal across virtually any surface. They hunt animals with poison.
That's badass, though. See, that's skill sets that none of us will ever have because it's just been lost with modern society. Being able, I mean, maybe if you're a hunter, but even then, you're not going to be as good at it as they are because they are doing this to survive versus you doing it for sport. Being able to track footprints of animals and find them, dude, that's like some video game shit. That's like I'm playing Hunter Call of the Wild on my PC at 3 in the morning, and I'm tracking a deer.
Poison-tipped arrows obtained from the larvae of small beetles, snake venom, and plants. However, despite their extensive knowledge of herbs and toxins, the Sands are still vulnerable to the poison. So when consuming the meat from the dead animal, the area where the arrow struck is always cut out and thrown away. The Sand Tribe believes in the supremacy of a powerful god called Kag.
But that's, I don't know, they seem more advanced to me, and we know more about them. If we know what god they praise, that means they're isolated but not uncontacted. There's been contact with the Sentinelese, but I would still say nobody's ever integrated them at all, versus these people just being isolated, but there still being some sort of interaction.
The Sand Tribe believes in the supremacy of a powerful god called Kagan, who can assume many forms, including the praying mantis, a snake, and a vulture. They also worship the moon and pay homage to their ancestors through offerings and sacrifices. Europeans during the war significantly reduced their numbers, fighting them with horses and firearms. The Sand People were vastly outnumbered, and although they were very courageous, did not stand a chance against the Europeans. However, they still chose to fight to the death instead of capture and slavery. Their way of life was strongly altered by colonialism, and they were no longer given the privilege to roam freely and hunt like they did in the past. Asmat Tribe, with an estimated population.
So then what do they do now? Do they have their own area that they inhabit?
The Asmat Tribe is notorious for headhunting and cannibalism. They live on a small island mangrove in Papua, a province of Indonesia. Historically, the Asmat engaged in ceremonial practices that involved the killing and consumption of the brains and flesh of their enemies, reflecting complex cultural rituals. They strip the
Still, or or because I know there's cannibalism that exists within certain religions or people where they'll consume their dead loved ones or something. I gotta Google where that is. What religion cannibalizes their dead loved ones? For the Wari people of Western Brazil, endocannibalism was an act of compassion where the roasted remains of fellow Wari were consumed in a mortuary setting. Yeah. So that, I don't know, that freaks me out less. That freaks me out less than when people will consume enemies than their loved ones when they just pass naturally. Either way, I can't really imagine eating a human, but
the skull of its brains and eyes, closing up the nasal parts too, to prevent evil spirits from entering the body. The empty skull is used as a pillow for sleep and a bowl to eat. However, the killing and eating of flesh and brains by the Asmat people were not just random, they were known to hunt for names, and believed that by killing and eating another person, they would absorb his power and name, becoming him. Every Asmat person is named after a tribe member who passed away, or an enemy they hunted and ate. The tribe's people would only give names to many of the
Why would you want to be your enemy, though? Why would you want to consume your enemy and then become them? Because then aren't you just being the thing that you hated?
And
how does he know this? Because just because they're isolated tribes doesn't mean they don't have any contact with people. So they could, you know, explain this to, you know, somebody traveling towards their tribe.
Had completed their first
Much different than the Sentinelese, which almost have zero contact and we know nothing about.
Successful hunt. They must know the name of the victim and can only take the name for themselves after eating his flesh. The hunting generally included attacking
Wait, so if I don't tell them my name, they can't kill me?
enemy villages, and might even include unsuspecting visitors. In an improbable scenario, an unsuspecting visitor to Indonesia could unwittingly become a target in the Asmat tradition of name-taking. However, while there is historical evidence of cannibalism and headhunting, these practices are no longer a representation of the Asmat people today. The Asmat people also believe they come from wood and hold the forest sacred. Since ancient times, they have carved wooden relics, including detailed statues and sculptures with incredible craftsmanship. Asaro Mudmen. Not all indigenous tribes are deadly killers, but this particular tribe located on the New Guinea island certainly looks the part. However, looks can be deceiving, as the Asaro Mudmen, or the Halosa, which translates to ghosts, are peaceful people. However, seeing them for the first time might make one scared, because they cover themselves from head to toe with gray mud, and wear demonic-looking clay head masks.
It's so crazy to me that these traditions, cultures, and beliefs just come out of nowhere. There's nothing that prompted them. Obviously, there might have been an incident that prompted them to kind of go down this, you know, rabbit hole and start doing these specific practices. But it's just a group of people that have lived together for, you know, thousands of years that practice something that they came up with one day.
They elongate their fingers with bamboo
Like, why?
sticks and move in a slow single file to a rhythmic pattern that can be likened to a spiritual dance. The truth is they look this way to intimidate and scare their enemies, to avoid war and conflict. Why go to war when you could scare them to victory? The Asaro
Yo, that's so smart, though.
Mudmen adopted this look when attacked by another enemy tribe. During the attack, they hid in the Asaro River, and when they came out, were covered from head to toe with gray mud. The attackers saw them and fled in fear.
Wow! Dude, see, that's how it started. What a weird coincidence. They're in the middle of war. They come out covered in mud, and they're like, holy shit, these guys look terrifying.
Believing they were the ghosts of past Asaro people they killed. The Asaro people realized this was a great and intelligent way to avoid conflict and war. The bottom line is the masks should be as scary as possible.
Yeah, if I was in the middle of a jungle and I saw one of those random people wearing masks with a bunch of mud all over them, and they were like moving in a rhythmic dance with bamboo fingers, I probably would run the other direction, even if I did have a weapon.
Korowai tribe. The Korowai tribe is another indigenous tribe living deep inside the rainforest of Indonesia, completely isolated from modern civilization. Due to the high
Why are
mortality
they all in Indonesia?
rate caused by jungle diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, and severe anemia, most of them do not live past 50, as they have no immunity to fight these illnesses. However, these deaths are blamed on an evil demon called Kakua, who is said to take the form of their loved ones to kill and eat the flesh of the tribespeople. So if anyone dies from malaria or anemia, Kakua is blamed, and to stop the demon, the Korowai people capture, kill, and eat the flesh of anyone suspected of being possessed. To
Oh my god! So they just kill innocent people?
identify the Kakua amongst them, the victim dying would mention the name of the person he suspects as the one eating.
Wow, so you really can't make enemies, though. You really can't make enemies, though. Holy shit. You're dying of malaria, and they're like, who did this? And you're just like, Robert from 5th grade. He kicked sand in my face. It's him. And then they hunt that guy down and eat him.
Eating his flesh from the inside. And once a name is mentioned, the tribespeople would kill and eat the person, which means they avenge the death by eating the Kakua responsible. Although the
I feel like that's going to cause more illnesses than solutions.
cannibalism of the Korowai tribe has reduced significantly, partly in reality.
You know what a crazy thing would be? Who's the demon? And you say the guy talking to you. Oh, I'd pull some shit like that. He goes, wait. Maybe we're being a little outlandish here.
Reaction to several incidents with the police, it is believed that many of the tribe's people are still murdered and eaten each year. Huaorani tribe. In 1956, 5 evangelical Christians from the United States journeyed to the depths of the Amazon rainforest in search of the Huaorani people. The Huaorani tribe, located within the Ecuadorian Yasuni National Park, had never been contacted. Still, these men decided the best thing to do was to journey from America and introduce a new god to them. The contact was complex, and there were a lot of misunderstandings on both sides. Although the Christians offered gifts to the tribe when they arrived, and the tribe's people collected the gifts with fear, but mostly excitement, they were all still brutally speared to death at night by
Oh my God. I'm not trying to laugh at that. That's fucking insane. Wait, so they flew all the way to this tribe, gave them gifts, and they went, oh, thanks, and then fucking speared them to death and took their shit.
but mostly excitement, they were all still brutally speared to death at night by the tribe warriors. A search party found their dead bodies floating on the banks of a river. Nobody knows the exact reason for the sudden hostility, but it is speculated that the 5 men had set up camp too close to a Huaorani settlement. The Huaorani people are fiercely territorial, attacking anyone who tries to enter their lands, including other Huaorani. They maintain a solid in-group, out-group distinction between relatives of the tribe and other people
Wow, dude.
and have been known to kill plantain workers and explorers who come too close. The tribe's primary source of survival is hunting monkeys and other small animals with spears and blowguns. Tree climbing is a vital skill for hunting monkeys, and members consider it crucial. However, the long-standing practice of climbing trees has caused the Huaorani people to experience different forms of physical adaptation to their feet, including flattened and extra toes.
Extra toes. Oh! It's like they're more curved so they can grip like probably logs and tree limbs better.
Batak tribe. The first distinct feature of the Batak people is their physical attributes of dark skin and curly hair. They are considered to be of Negrito stock and live in the high mountains of the Philippines with ancient practices and customs that shape their lives and traditions. Before the Batak people's marriage ceremony, a process called the alyog is first performed. This practice is used to determine if the boy's parents agree to his marriage to a chosen girl. The boy's parents are usually escorted by a tribe elder who witnesses the conversation and final agreement. They are also a very spiritual and religious tribe that believes that spirits with the powers to cure and heal severe diseases reside in big rocks and
Are there any tribes that don't have any religious beliefs or faith-based beliefs whatsoever? I think that religion is just something I don't think it's a point that proves that God exists. I think a religion is just always an answer to the lack of answers that people have. God of the gaps always exists in a religion. If you don't understand something or can't explain it, you attribute it to some higher power or being that you tack different, attributes to.
This belief is sacred, and the Balan, the chief priest, performs different rituals to honor these spirits. A ritual called Saghat is performed to the goddess spirit to ask permission for Kangain, the farming process used by the tribe involving the slashing and burning of trees and plowing the ashes as fertilizer. If the tribe's people get no sign or dream of disagreement with the goddess within 3 days and night, then Kangain would proceed. Simbu tribe. In the mountain terrains of the central highlands of Papua New Guinea, you would find the happy, simple tribe of the Simbu people. The Simbu people live in tiny settlements with oval houses, low thatched roofs, and flattened reed-woven walls. The men stay together in one communal house, while the women, children, and pigs live separately. They do not have much and rely on hunting for survival. Pigs are their most prized possessions and are used in exchange for marriage ceremonies and death rituals.
That's like very common though, where people would trade pigs, goats, or animals to marry somebody as like an offering.
and as push gifts to thank the woman after childbirth. Another distinct practice
You give birth. Oh, congratulations. Look what we got you. That's not what a pig sounds like. Oh my God. What does a pig sound like? No, they make oink sounds. They go oink. Yeah, but that's not oink. God, pigs look so weird. Ugh! Oh, they're so creepy, dude.
among the Simbu people is a pig-killing practice known as Bugla Ingu. In this ceremony, thousands of pigs are killed, cooked, and distributed amongst the different tribes as a form of exchange ceremony to maintain good relationships and peace. Akuntsu tribe. The peaceful Akuntsu tribe hasn't been heard of in many centuries, but with only 4 members left, they may soon go extinct. Originating from
May soon go extinct. You got 4 members left, bro. If you don't go extinct, you're going to be just doing it with your siblings, man.
the Akuntsu people speak a unique language that sounds unlike anything you've ever heard. Tragically, Brazilian cattle ranchers in the 1980s perpetrated a massive massacre that almost completely wiped them out. The reason for this attack was that the cattle ranchers believed that if contact was made through the official channel, their forest would be turned into an indigenous reserve and closed off to loggers and cattle ranchers. The government made official contact with them in the 1990s, and it was discovered that only 7 members of the Akuntsu tribe survived. Only 2 men, 3 women, and 2 young girls were left, but eventually the oldest member and tribe shaman died during their sleep. In 2000, a tree fell on one of their homes, killing the youngest girl. The remaining 4 members are the last known survivors of their people. Agori tribe. The Agori tribe,
This is like one of the only other ones that I've heard of.
numbering around 70 members and based in Uttar Pradesh, India, practices a distinct and intense form of Hinduism, which includes unique post-mortem rituals that significantly diverge from mainstream practices. While we hold simple burial rituals, the Agoris take it a step deeper by smearing ashes all over their bodies, dwelling in the cremation grounds, and eating the flesh from the dead bodies. They use human bones to make skull caps and jewelry, and believe many of their practices have
I don't know, man. I don't think I could stomach eating a loved one. It would be easier to eat someone you don't know. Like, if your, like, grandpa or your grandma passes, and then they're like, all right, you gotta eat them.
healing powers. The Agori of the present trace their origins to Baba Kinaram, who was said to have lived for 150 years and died in the second half of the 18th century. He is regarded as an incarnation of Shiva, and his birth is marked by several miraculous signs, including the fact that he was born with a complete set of teeth, a rare phenomenon and a sign of spiritual power. Following his birth, Baba
Can that actually happen? You could be born with a full set of teeth?
Kinaram, revered in Agori tradition, did not cry or consume his mother's milk for 3 days. On the 4th day, his family was
Yo, that'd be creepy, though. Baby popping out of the womb, and he's just like... Wah, wah. And he's just got a full-ass smile. Why are some babies born with teeth? Oh, their shit looks fucked up, too. Oh. Yeah, coming out of the womb, they got like just a bunch of loose teeth in there.
was visited by 3 monks, believed to be incarnations of the Hindu gods Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, marking a significant turning point in his early life. After the visit, he cried and accepted his mother's milk. The Agoris are the holy men of death, who live on the edge of life and death and live in isolation from modern society. Jarawa tribe. The Jarawa people, with a population of 270, are amongst the last mainly uncontacted tribes in the Andaman Islands, which are located in the Indian Ocean. They are nomadic and move from place to place, surviving through hunting boars and fish. They supplement their meal with the fruits and vegetables harvested from their current environment. Most ancient tribes were mainly nude, but the members of the Jarawa tribe were always naked and adorned themselves with
Bro, you know how scary? Like, I can't even wrap my mind around it living in a first world country. Being an uncontacted tribe that might not get food that day or that week. And, like, if the hunting's bad, you might have 2 people that starve. And you're just butt-ass naked all the time.
Clay is sometimes spread on the body and used to design and engrave patterns. Honey is another excellent food source for the Jarawa people, and both men and women collect wild honey from lofty trees. During the
Bro, you know the first motherfucker's reaction when they had honey in the wild? That shit's probably like crack. You're just fucking sitting there eating like some unseasoned fucking raw beef, just fucking shit. And then a beehive falls out of the fucking tree and it breaks open. There's a bunch of honey there. You eat that shit? Wow, dude. Their reaction was probably like insane.
The members of each group will sing songs to express their delight, and the honey collector will chew the sap of leaves from a bee repellent plant such as Uyakualan. Once this is done, the Jarawa can cut the bee's nest, which they will put in a wooden bucket on their backs and start the journey home. The Jarawa people strongly believe in the cycles and phases of the sun and moon, and often use their movement across the sky to judge the success of their hunts.
Wow. What a cool video. I enjoyed that. That was the learning for the day. Next!